About a year ago to date, I posted on social media, the world has nothing to offer me. And I'll tell you, since that time, it has bringing in its best, its finest of all the things in order to, whether you want to call it entice, offer, present, a myriad of amazing things. And listen, some of it was very tempting and all the things, right? At the end of the day, I still have come back with the same conclusion. You know, the world has nothing to offer me. Honestly, for me, that's one of the reasons I became saved. My mother and my father, yes, was raised in, they raised me in the church. Even when my dad stopped going to church and my grandma started taking me to church, I was the one that said, I want to get baptized at 9 years old and all the things. And I'm not trying to pretend that I lived a sanctified life the whole time. No, the struggle is real. And there was times and moments where I really want to call it backslid or wasn't always living the word. And today it's still a journey I get to do and I strive to do every day. Some days I'm better than others. But at the end of the day, for me, what was my biggest motivation for my salvation wasn't because of my mom and my dad taught me about Jesus. It wasn't because of any of that. It was because I came to the conclusion that the way that I was moving and the things that I was doing and the world's way was an epic fail. And I remember the day, like it was yesterday, when I got the revelation of Romans 12:1-2, which says, and I'm summarizing, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you honor your body as a living sacrifice, purely and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And it goes on to say, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will know this good and perfect gift comes from God. And that to me was so freeing, because for so long, and still today, it's still that temptation that people constantly want to influence you to conform to the world and do it their way and do it, you know what I'm saying? But what I find is, in the world, you're going to have these moments of amazingness and this emotional high and fun times and all of this. But a lot of the things is like so temporary that you only experience it for a moment. So you kind of keep having to go back and back and back to get it because it's not fulfilling. And so at the end of the day, to me, the only thing that really fills my cup is the Spirit of God. And I want to invite you to take on that, to accept, if you haven't already, to try this way. If you've been trying a way and your way has not been working, it's been an epic fail. You've tried it multiple times and you keep finding yourself, whether it's in dead end relationships, you keep finding yourself being sad, depressed, disappointed, constantly falling short, constantly not living up to, constantly feeling like there is something missing, that I want to invite you. I want to invite you to try the God's way. Like, you already tried the world way for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? And it's led you to this point. And I want to invite you to try something different to see what's that experience for you. Because I know when I am doing it God's way, I have a greater level of peace. I have a greater level of joy. I have less regret. I have less shame. I have less guilt. I have more abundance. I just like more alignment, right? And so I just want to invite that for you, submit for your consideration, that if you're like, listen, my track record, this thing ain't tracking, right? Ain't giving. And I'm not saying that you won't have disappointments. I'm not saying that you won't have situations that don't work out and things that not go the way you want them to go. I'm not saying that if you accept Christ or if you get back on the saddle and start pursuing a life of God and submitting to his will and his way, that your life will be easy. I'm not saying that. I'm just going to say it's going to be easier. I'm saying that it's going to be a path that you can embrace in the journey with others to support you and gird you up. And you have something that can anchor you and you'll be really rooted in who you are. Because right now, the greatest threat is facing our generation of millennials, generation of Zs, generation of Gen Xers, is our identity. It's knowing who we are, being grounded in our identity and not wavering and not allowing ourselves to be overcome by all these tactics, all these things that the world has to offer, because it makes it looks really good. It glams it up. It, you know what I'm saying? They put a lot of glow on it, a lot of glitter, all the things. And it looks like, oh my God, this is it. And then you get into it and you be like, oh, okay. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is your girl, Jo Bullock, and I've been coaching and mentoring women and really just believers for the last 17 years on creating the life that they love, being more intentional in their personal development, in their relationship with them, with God first and foremost, themselves and others, and with their time and their money, and really just helping you to be a better steward in all of these areas. And I'm just grateful, and I'm not trying to say, and it doesn't have to be. My journey and story is not perfect, and it's okay. I've had failed relationships. I've had situations that didn't work out and things that I thought would be, however, turn out one way and it end up in a whole different way. But I still find peace in that because I know that God has a plan. And he says, the plans I have for you is to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future of hope and an expected end. And he says that all things work together for the good of those who love God and call according to his purpose. So even when it may seem like a failure to the world, it's going to be glory to my God. So anyway, listen, check my bio for more resources. Make sure you're following me here so we can keep the conversation going. Until next time, peace and blessings. It's your girl, Jo Speaks Truth, and I'm out.